All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 12th Annual Governor's Award for Excellence in Global Trade. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jonathan Bricker, and I'm the chair of the Arkansas District Export Council. In my primary role, I work for ArDEC Bank in Bentonville, Arkansas. I started off as the International Business Development Representative and now have pivoted over to commercial lending with a focus on commercial and industrial businesses relocating to our state. I appreciate you all taking the time to be here with us this evening and celebrate the success of these Arkansas companies in the world of exporting. I'd also like to thank those and welcome those at home watching on PBS. This is the first year that we have had this live streamed, so I'm very excited by that. And, PBS being here was made possible by donations of people like you. Thank you. I've been waiting all week to say that. Thank you, Governor Hutchinson and Secretary Preston, for making time to join us this evening and allowing us to recognize and celebrate all the job growth and the capital investment that has started in Arkansas under your leadership. To the First Lady, Susan Hutchinson, thank you for allowing us into your beautiful home. For 8 years, you have graciously and warmly invited Arkansans in. So thank you. It is a true honor to be here. We're very fortunate this year to have so many generous sponsors. This is our largest fundraiser of the year, not to mention our only fundraiser of the year. But your support allows us to continue our mission all throughout the year. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our sponsors this evening. I assume most of you in the room probably know what the DEC is, but for those of you that just got invited to some random award ceremony on a Wednesday night, let me take a second to tell you who we are and what we do. We are a private, non-profit, education-based organization, and we are consisting of experienced exporters and business people who provide support to already exporting businesses, and we're also a mentor to new exporting companies. Each member has been appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce for his or her own real-world international trade experience. We also serve as a link between the U.S. Commercial Service and the Arkansas World Trade Center. In a minute, the dinners are going to be served, so feel free to start whenever they hit the table. And if you want to start with desserts, I think you can do that. I'd like to begin this evening by recognizing and welcoming to the stage our platinum sponsors. We're going to begin with Mr. Rudy Ortiz. Rudy is the Education Committee Chair for the District Export Council and is responsible for all of our educational-based webinars. He's also the previous chairman of the DEC, and he is the owner of Strategic Business Services. He helps in a wide variety of international business and exporting needs. He's very well-versed and experienced in every aspect of exporting and helping companies grow their bottom line. Rudy, thank you so much for being a platinum sponsor.
Well, it's a little unusual being up here in terms of this particular situation here. I think you guys know that for a long time I've been involved with the District Export Council, was appointed.
I'm a little short, Rudy.
Oh, okay. I was appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce back in 2014, so I've been involved with the DEC for a great number of years. And this is some of the credentials that I've acquired over the years that have allowed me to be able to help the different clients that I have and have had on the international side. I've also been very fortunate to have as my clients over the years several for resilience in manufacturing, Lycus Ltd. The 2019 award winner for Rising Star Manufacturer, Biotech Pharmacol. The 2017 Governor Award winner for small manufacturing exporter, Garrico Dental. Also that same year, the Rising Star Manufacturer, again, Lycus Ltd. 2015, the small manufacturer exporter, Gallery Support Innovations. And then when it first started, 2014, the small manufacturer exporter, which was Sweep Scrub of North Little Rock. So these are companies that I've been able to be fortunate enough to help in various ways with their international. And for 2021, I want to just kind of give you a brief description of some of the systems that I've been able to provide to my clients and the impact, the economic impact it has had. I was able to save during 2020 and 2021, which of course were difficult years, was able to help a client save $60 million in tariffs by helping them with tariff exclusions, 232 and 301 tariff exclusions. Was able to help another client from losing $14 million in revenues by preventing one of his competitors from getting a tariff exclusion. Was also able to help a multinational company that happens to have a significant presence here in Arkansas from losing $250 million in revenues because they were not able to receive parts from Mexico and were not receiving accurate information as to the reason behind it. And I was able to obtain the information of what was really going on and was able to provide a solution for them to be able to get supplies in a different way. And consequently, 350 jobs were saved and $250 million in revenues were not lost. So much for that, that I want to also talk about some of the things that have changed over the years, especially this last couple of years, and some of the possible solutions to these significant changes that are occurring. I think that everyone knows that supply chain has become a very important topic. Its lack of reliability is impacting companies in a multitude of ways. And the time frame to get your supplies when you do get them are significantly longer. And in addition to that, the cost of your supplies are costing you significantly more. Add that to the fact there are political situations going on in the world right now, including the probable decoupling between the U.S. and China, and certainly the strains that are occurring between U.S. and China, and also military conflicts. Now, those are the problems. What are some of the possible solutions? Well, there's two things that we need to be doing, almost regardless of the problems that are going on right now. One of them is reshoring, which means bringing some of the production back to the United States, and the other one is nearshoring, which means bringing your other supply chains closer to the United States, but not necessarily in the United States. That diversifies your supply chain and allows you to continue getting your supplies almost irrespective of what's going on, and certainly in a much shorter period of time, and it's significantly reduced cost to you and reduced time. So I very strongly urge that anybody who's acquiring supplies, materials, parts from different parts of the world consider reshoring part of their supply chain and nearshoring the rest of it. And I think it's really important that you do two-pronged, not just one or the other, but both. So another solution is to do business with the countries in South America and Central America, and of course Mexico. You may know that we have 11 free trade agreements, as I was showing just a little while ago, with different South American and Central American countries. We also have access to 38 World Trade Centers that are in Central America and South America, and of course in Mexico, that we have 12 World Trade Centers in Mexico. These are associations that are very eager to do business and to have their clientele do business with the United States. They want to be able to prosper just like Mexico has been able to do so via the USMCA and previous to that NAFTA. And they're very eager to do business. And with the World Trade Center in Arkansas, and our partner, we can have access to the World Trade Centers and find additional supply chain companies that are able to help us and also to do manufacturing when required. And so there are a number of ways that we can regionalize our supply chains, once again, in the aspect of reshoring and nearshoring, to try to make our economy much, much more resilient than it is currently. And ladies and gentlemen, I very strongly urge you to consider and to investigate those opportunities. Now, my company, Strategic Business Services, there's a number of ways that we're able to help you with capital acquisition, financial analysis, international business assistance that's very comprehensive, market analysis and market entry, operations management, strategic plan development, and supply chain resilience. And so my contact information hopefully will come up in a second here. If I can be of service to you, please feel free to contact me. But regardless, once again, supply chain resilience, manufacturing resilience, operations resilience, IT resilience is so critically important to the success and sustainability and long-term viability of your company. I urge you to consider investigating those opportunities. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for that, Rudy. Next, I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Aaron Huckabee of Lockheed Martin. We were fortunate enough last quarter to hold our meeting at the Lockheed Martin facilities down in Camden, and their group put on a wonderful tour, so thank you for having us down there. Mr. Huckabee serves in Lockheed Martin's Missiles and Fire Control area as the site director and general manager of the facility, where he joined this role in March of this year. He's responsible for leading over 1,000 employees across 7 different production lines. The Camden operation houses over 2 million square feet of manufacturing space and over 2,400 acres. This place was massive. Prior to this role, he served as the Director of Global Supply Chain Operations, where he oversaw activities for regulatory compliance, small business, IT, data analytics, price analysis, and workforce development. He was also responsible for international business strategies to satisfy requirements for supply chain management. What did you not do at that place? My goodness. Welcome, Mr. Huckabee.
Thank you, Jonathan, for the warm introduction. Governor Hutchinson, First Lady, thank you for attending tonight and allowing us to have this event here at y'all's house. To the ArDEC board, thank you for championing the export of goods and services that create jobs for Arkansas and stimulate the economic growth in this great state. Lockheed Martin sincerely appreciates the opportunity to partner with you in our 4th year as a platinum sponsor. At Lockheed Martin, we ensure those that we serve are always ahead of ready, which reinforces our commitment to enabling our customers' success by helping them anticipate, prepare for, and get ahead of their challenges. Our Camden operations facility has had a strong presence in Calhoun County since 1978. We have currently grown to more than 1,000 employees, and we're still growing. Across the defense industry, Camden is known as a highly efficient, high-quality center of excellence. It's a first-rate facility, and the people who work there are some of the best in the world at what they do. They put their hearts and souls into products produced in support of the U.S. and allied military services. We contribute components and perform final assembly for several of our key integrated air and missile defense and precision fire products, such as PAC-3, THAAD, GMLRS, and our rocket launcher systems like HIMARS and M270. If you don't know what those acronyms are, I encourage you to look them up, but it'd be a mouthful for me to elaborate here, so apologize for the acronyms. But our customers depend on these products to work the first time, every time. And it's reassuring to me personally to know that work done in Camden and across this state protects our service members, including many who call Arkansas home. The immense pride I feel for our citizens of Arkansas and the work that we are doing as a collective team to support the warfighter is beyond measure. But for more than 40 years, Camden Operation has been deeply involved in the international customer support and sales and export. So I don't say this lightly to say that as an Arkansas entity and ecosystem, we are very fortunate to have the volunteer ArDEC Export Council with its mission to offer training to company staff, to produce webinars, and to provide connections to export subject matter experts and financial institutions. So each of you tonight are joining a very elite group of Arkansas export winners. So thank you for your attendance, and thank you for your continued support of our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And thank you also for all the support that you guys have given us, not only tonight as a platinum sponsor, but throughout the year and as well. So thank you all. Okay, so tonight we have the pleasure of a Q&A session with Governor Hutchinson and Secretary Preston. When we decided that we wanted to do this format, we knew that we needed one of the best in the business to handle this task, and everyone immediately agreed upon Roby Brock. Roby is the CEO of Talk Business and Politics, which is a 23-year-old multimedia news organization reporting on the business and politics throughout our state. Roby, thank you so much for always being available for us and still taking my phone calls. And congratulations on the move to KRK and Fox 16. In fact, Talk Business and Politics airs Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Fox 16 here in Little Rock, KNWA, Fox 24 Northwest Arkansas, and KAIT Channel 8 in Jonesboro. He's also the host of the Capitol View, which is a Sunday morning political show that airs at 8:30 on Channel 4 in Little Rock and 10:30 in Northwest Arkansas. You can also keep up with his daily reporting on talkbusiness.net. Roby, thanks for agreeing to host tonight.
I think I know how to work one of these things with 23 years of experience. Before I invite our panelists up here for a discussion, I just want to put a shout out. There's only one place that would make total, complete sense for me to wear the socks that I'm wearing tonight. And to Wes Ward and to my Riceland Foods friends, it says Arkansas Rice on these socks tonight. Yeah. Purposefully put these socks on for this event tonight, so you're welcome for that. So it's great. I'm going to invite Mike Preston and Governor Asa Hutchinson to come on up here while I do a brief introduction of them. Everybody kind of knows who they are already, or at least I hope everybody in this room knows who they are already. Governor Asa Hutchinson is I don't know what's in that manila folder right there. I'd be worried if I were you. Governor Asa Hutchinson is the 46th governor of the state of Arkansas. He's a former congressman, a former U.S. attorney, former federal official as well, but he has been governor for the last almost 8 years, and we are excited every time we get a chance to sit down and visit with you, Governor. Mike Preston is the secretary of the Arkansas Department of Commerce, but he was originally hired as the Arkansas Economic Development Commission executive director. And I am actually going to take a little liberty here tonight because I won't get to spend much time on the stage with Governor Hutchinson much longer, as term limits is going to take you away from some of these fun events. And Mike, this could be one of many painful experiences for you over the next several years, so we'll see. But I'm going to tell you a little story, and this is all personal stuff here, so I think it'll be fun for you guys to hear a little bit about this. So in 2015, when Governor Hutchinson was putting his cabinet together. 2014, he's elected in November. 2015, he's putting his cabinet together. And we're all wondering in business circles around the state of Arkansas, who's he going to make director of the Arkansas Economic Development Commission? I mean, it was like the biggest kept secret in the world. And so I'm doing my sleuth work as a reporter would do, and all I can get from anybody around your administration is, well, I think he's talking to some guy in Florida. He's talking to some guy in Florida. Well, there's how many residents in the state of Florida?
21 million.
21 million. So I got a long ways to go to figure out who this one person is. And Mike, I wanted to let you know that your wife actually gave it all away. So his wife, Ann Emanuel Preston, is a news anchor, and she was working for a TV station in Tampa. And she came to a TV station in Little Rock at KATV, where I used to produce my show. And the news director says, oh yeah, by the way, there was this really good, talented young lady that came in interviewing for an anchor position the other day. Her name was Ann something. I'll find it here in a second. She's from Florida. She said that her husband's moving here to take a job in the Hutchinson administration. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. So I just do a quick Google search on Ann, and it pops up, you know, your wedding actually popped up online, so that should be terrifying enough as it is. And I see that there's this Mike Preston guy from Enterprise, Florida, and I'm like, I think I have cracked the mystery. So the governor is going to have a reception here at the governor's mansion on like a Wednesday night. And then Thursday morning, he's going to introduce Mike as his new AEDC director. And that's just not how it works in the press, Governor, because, I mean, we want to know first, you know. So you're going to tell a room full of a couple of hundred legislators and economic development officials who was going to be your primary jobs guy, and we wanted to know. So honestly, by this time, I had already written the story. So I had it all worked up because I had done all my detective work. And I had about 3 or 4 plants here at your reception, by the way. And I said, I think the guy's name's Mike Preston. If he's introduced as the AEDC director, would you please text me, it is Mike Preston. And immediately when you introduced Mike, I got about 4 text messages from some very unloyal legislators who said, it's Mike Preston. And I was like, story's going out. So we put it out there. But a little bit before that, the day before Mike is announced, and Mike will remember this, I friended Ann, his wife, and Mike on Twitter as followers. And I think it freaked y'all out pretty good, because you're like, how does this guy from Arkansas know why is he following us on Twitter? So anyhow, that is my story of how I learned how Mike Preston was going to be your AEDC director. So you're going to have to work a little harder to keep those secrets.
You're a real snoop is all I can say. And no, a great story, and it really brings back to attention as to how important that position of Director of Economic Development is in Arkansas, both history, the present, and the future. And I purpose not to put in a politico there. I love my political partners. We can put them in a lot of different positions in the administration, but I wanted somebody who really knew the business, had a great reputation. Mike filled that bill, interviewed him, and when he told me he could dunk a basketball, I knew the job was his.
What did make you take a chance on Mike? He was young, he had not been in that type of leadership position before, and you were taking a risk on a pretty young, unproven guy, so.
Well, in some ways, yes, certainly. But, and I had a search firm. They brought me 3 names, was narrowed to. I interviewed them, and you know, I was sold on energy. He had a great reputation in Florida, and the passion that he has for economic development. I wanted someone with that kind of hungriness out there recruiting business for Arkansas. And you know, Mike had never been in Arkansas before you came and interviewed with me.
That's
it was
right.
the first time, and so it was a leap of faith for him and perhaps for me in some ways. But let me tell you, I'll take credit for it because it's been a great 8 years.
And Roby, if I could add to that, so yeah, that to the governor's point, it was the first time ever coming to Arkansas was to come into this beautiful building here and to sit down and interview with the governor. So, I did my homework too, and I saw that President Reagan had appointed him when he was 31 years old to be the federal prosecutor in the Western District of Arkansas. It so happened I was also 31, so I made that very clear and tried to draw that connection. But it is, as the governor said, it was a leap of faith kind of for both of us. My wife and I had been married all of 2 months at that point. That's probably why our wedding stuff was still online. It was early in our, marriage. So I was well, it's got to be the right fit. And, when we sit down and the governor started interviewing me, before long it turned into more of a conversation. And I realized very early on in that conversation, this guy gets it. He gets economic development. His comment to me was, Mike, if I get economic development right, that's going to pave the way to do everything else that we want to get done in our state. We're going to improve education. We're going to improve health care. We're going to build better roads. We're going to do all these things that are going to rise Arkansas as a state. And I knew because he had that fundamental foundation of economic development, getting it all done, it was going to happen. And then, of course, my wife flew in that night and met the First Lady, fell in love with her. First Lady has been like a second mother to her since we've been here and just become dear friends. So it was a leap of faith, but one that I would never change.
It's been a good story. Governor, you said you interviewed 3 candidates for the job. Who were the other 2? Oh, you might not want to say. So.
Well, I thought you would certainly know when you're snooping around.
No, I just knew who you were going to pick, so that's good. All right, another story that I want to tell that will dive us into our conversation where we're going with talking about exports tonight is this was in Governor Hutchinson's first term as well. You made a trip to China. I think it was in your first year in office there. And so on a Sunday morning at about 7:30 a.m., I get a call from his then press secretary, J.R. Davis. You never want to see a press secretary for a governor calling you at 7:30 on a Sunday morning. That's never a good sign. Something bad has happened or you're in some sort of trouble. Am I right, Shaylin? Yes. So 7:30 a.m., I'm getting a call from J.R. Davis on a Sunday morning, and I, of course, take the call, and he says, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. It's 7:30 on a Sunday morning. What should I be doing, J.R.? He said, the governor's on a trip to China. And I said, yes. Is there some news? And he goes, he'd like to give you a phone call. Would you take a call from the governor from China in about 5 minutes? Well, I didn't have to think real hard about that, I'm like, yeah, I'd probably take a call from the governor in China in about 5 minutes, JR. Tell him to give me a call when he's ready, sort of thing. And sure enough, Governor Hutchinson calls me. I actually have your number saved in my phone from that phone call. So it pops up. Asa Hutchinson is right there in there. And you proceeded to tell me about you had made some sort of agreement with a Chinese company that was going to bring some jobs to Arkansas. And I think the first question I asked you when we connected was, do you know where you are in China? And do you remember where you were in China?
No.
You didn't know that morning either, so it was good. So let's begin there. Let's talk about how relations with China have evolved over the last 8 years. You've certainly had a lot of export opportunity between Tyson Foods, Riceland Foods, Walmart. There's been a lot of conversations going on in terms of what's happening, agriculture in general. With China. Tell me kind of how things have progressed over the 8 years as governor and what you've seen in those Chinese relations.
Roby, that's a great question. First, whenever Mike came on board, I told him and his team that I would take 2 international trips a year while I'm governor. I believe that could fit in with my management of the state, but it was important to market Arkansas, and so our habit was to go to Asia and then to go to Europe. And I did that every year except during the pandemic. And that's made a big difference for Arkansas, the marketing that we did. In terms of China, whenever we started going to China, it was a wide open market. You had every state that was going there virtually that was recruiting industry in. China was looking for investment opportunities in the United States. And from my perspective, it's a matter of moving manufacturing from China here to the United States, and that's a good thing whenever we can produce products here versus there. And so we recruited some industry, had some success stories. A couple of them are still here in Arkansas. But the biggest projects, went by the wayside, and it was simply the result, a casualty of the trade war. And, you're probably going to ask me this, your last question, so I'll wait till you get to that question. But, yeah, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And those trips there, obviously, they were good relationships. And first of all, you mentioned Tyson's and Walmart. Whenever some of the two largest companies in Arkansas, global companies, are doing business in China, that's an important place to carry the Arkansas name. And you've got also the opportunity to market our agricultural products. You mentioned Riceland, and that was a market that was wide open. And so Mike and I purpose that it's not just going to be about the recruiting industry here, but it's also about marketing Arkansas products globally. Those are the two purposes of it. I'm sure Mike's got a perspective as well, but obviously we invested our time and energy in China. Some of it worked, and some of it was a casualty.
Mike, what's it like trying to develop a new market in China? I mean, how do you walk into a room and go, hey, we'd like to do some business with you?
Well, I mean, it's hard. China's such a large economy, but it is. It's the largest consumer market in the world and the second largest economy in the world behind the U.S. Now, doing business there is extremely complicated. You have the Communist Chinese Party who have their hands in everything. So being able to understand and navigate that, you literally almost have to be there. So I think those trips were very impactful in the fact that, yes, we had to go there, we had to introduce ourselves, because who's Arkansas? We're a state of 3 million people. Most of their cities in China are 10 times larger than the state of Arkansas. So you have to be very targeted where we go, and we found some very select provinces where we had some natural, reciprocation with them that we could do business, that they were more agriculture driven or more industrial driven, where we were looking to pull some manufacturing out of. So we did have some wins. We still have some companies that are located, headquartered in China, who are doing operations in Arkansas and selling into the North American market, which is what they wanted to break into. But as the governor alluded to, it was more than that for us. On every trip that we went, our highlight and our emphasis always focused on trade, exporting more to Arkansas, rice being a big part of that. We're the top rice producer in the entire country, producing, 50% of the entire U.S. crop every year. China would consume our entire crop in less than 2 weeks. So, I mean, there was an emphasis for us being there, Tyson's being there. Obviously, the market for poultry was huge. But as the governor said, Walmart, too. We want to support a great company like Walmart. I'll never forget, it kind of takes you back when you walk into a Walmart in China and you see some of the same things that you might see here in the U.S. But struck me as funny as seeing a quote by Sam Walton on the wall in their break room. It was in Chinese, so I have no idea what it said, but it said Sam Walton under it. So you had the connection there with Arkansas. So, yeah, those relationships were going strong. You obviously run into the trade war, and that slowed things down. We found workarounds. We actually worked very closely with the Trump administration. We understood what they were trying to do in terms of the trade war, but we had workarounds for some of our projects, and then the pandemic hits, and then all bets are off, and that's where some of those projects really just fell off. But it's more complicated today than it was when we started.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Can I do a side note?
Yeah, for sure.
We've mentioned Tyson's. I've just got to applaud Tyson's because they made a decision to move hundreds of headquarters jobs out of Illinois and South Dakota back to Arkansas. And this is great news for us in Northwest Arkansas. It just shows the loyalty of a great global company to this state. And they acquired companies, they had their headquarters there naturally, but for them to come back here, that was a big announcement today.
Yeah. I'm getting into the housing business in Northwest Arkansas real soon. I'm going to tell you that right now. So you mentioned Europe earlier, too. You said you make 2 trips a year, one being to Asia, one being to Europe. So tell me what your strategy was at the beginning of your administration in terms of Europe, and has it evolved and changed any over the last 8 years?
Well, that's a greater success story in terms of what we've been able to promote from Arkansas. It's so exciting to be able to go over to the Paris Air Show, the Farnborough Air Show, Those were two of our venues. Of course, when we did that, we went further into Germany, to Switzerland, called on a number of different Arkansas-related businesses there or possible recruits to come to our state. But as a result of it, we got Lockheed Martin here today, but our aero defense industry is our largest export, manufacturing export in our state. And so it deserves to be supported, and because we're there marketing it, it drew attention to it. They have increased their exports, particularly in the defense arena. And I was down at Lockheed Martin yesterday as they unveiled a new facility that's going to produce their PAC-3, which is their Patriot missile system. And see, I know the acronyms. And we announced that at one of the air shows over in Europe. And so that's been one of the focuses of the trip, a number of different success stories from that. Strategy-wise, promote our aero defense industry and to recruit manufacturing to the state.
That was somewhat in place when you came into the role at AEDC. There had been a lot of emphasis on aerospace, and primarily because Dassault Falcon was here with a big presence, and obviously some of the defense manufacturers. What's kind of changed over the 8 years from your perspective, Mike, in terms of how you've approached these opportunities in Europe?
Well, I'd say what's changed is we've put more emphasis on it, and especially on the aero defense. I think we had maybe dabbled previously before this administration in going to the air shows and promoting ourselves, because we get there in 2015 for the first time, and it was, who's Arkansas and why are you here? This is our territory. We're Alabama, we're Florida, we're all these other states. Who do you think you are? This last trip when we were here in Farnborough in 2022, it was, welcome back, you guys are the leaders. We were amongst the top in the aerospace industry. So we really carved out, our spot in terms of states and being there and our recognition. And we've seen our exports grow in aero defense over these last year over year, even through the course of the pandemic. So I think we've made significant progress. Part of that would be that we opened a European office during this administration. That was something I talked to the governor about very early on. There was previously one there, I think back in the 80s, but it had been since...
In Brussels.
In Brussels, yeah. So, we didn't need to be in Brussels. We needed to be where the action was, so we wanted to put it in Germany, and that's where the financial center is. So we opened an office. We needed funds to do it, and just to show how important it was to us to do it, we wouldn't have funding for it until the legislature was able to meet and pass a new budget that included funding for our European office. But we wanted to get going prior to the air show, so we asked our Economic Development Foundation, our privately funded foundation, to step up and actually pay for a quarter, a fiscal quarter for a new employee for us in Europe to open it. So the private sector came to the table through our foundation, allowed us to open that office early and get a running start for it. So the emphasis that we put on and still have that office.
One more geographic question before we get to some broader stuff here. One of the things that has happened over the last 8 years, and a lot of it's because of the defense industry, is we have had a big expansion in the Middle East in terms of Arkansas exports to other parts of the world. Tell me about when you recognized that was going to be a good opportunity for Arkansas, and how you guys have capitalized and strategized your marketing to take advantage of that.
Well, we expanded. It wasn't just Europe. We went right pre-pandemic to India. Had a great trip there. Actually was successful in recruiting some industries pending, planning on the announcement. And of course the pandemic hit that slowed that down. But India is a market that is ripe for us in terms of recruitment, moving manufacturing, but also for a consumer market that we can export to. We went to the Middle East, to the UAE, and made contacts there in Dubai and UAE. And so we have worked that area. We've been to Israel, and that's a technology exchange that we focused on, and we have an MOU now with Israel for exchange of technology and information on future technologies, future mobility. So those have all been opportunities for us. I also want to mention an industry that we focused on, which is our firearms industry. And whenever we recruited Sig Sauer to Arkansas, it's ammunition, but we have Remington here. We've got, Fiocchi that's here, an Italian company, and they're growing and expanding, and those are all export opportunities for us as well. And we've been able to foster that relationship as we've traveled to Europe and Asia.
Mike, do you want to add to that?
I think the governor, really hit the nail on the head there. We it's wholesale, it's aerospace and defense, but we went beyond that. We had the opportunity in firearms and ammunition and technology in Israel, but certainly it opened up new markets. I think some of the things that were done in the Trump administration through the Abraham Accords and opening up some additional trade, it benefited Arkansas, and you can see that. And you got to give companies like Lockheed Martin a lot of credit that back in 2019 when we announced that project with the PAC-3, Russia had not invaded Ukraine. Well, all of a sudden, all the dynamics are changed, and you guys have a building and a facility that's up and operational. So kudos to all the Arkansas companies who just continue to lean forward and be a part of that. It makes our job as going out and selling Arkansas that much easier, that we have the industry, we have the workforce, we have the capability that can do it. And as the geopolitics come together, we promote and push Arkansas, and how can we utilize what we have here in our state to further that.
All right, broad question for both of you. And I want to talk about some of the other industries we may not have touched on, some other folks that are in this room. What do you think Arkansas is poised to capitalize on? Where do you see, it'll be after your time, where do you see Arkansas poised right now, and where do you see some opportunity that you think whoever your successor is might have some additional opportunity?
Well, if I had any regrets, I would probably say I should do 3 trips instead of just 2. Because we've missed some opportunities in Korea. South Korea is an investment opportunity that's waiting to happen. We have a lot of good Korean companies here already, but that expansion opportunity and trade opportunity is there. I hope that can be built upon and strengthened. India is the other place that we started, but you need to go back to India. Great opportunities for market access for our great companies that are in this room. But also they want to have access to our market, so they want to move here and manufacture, and they're a great ally, great partner. And you're going to see that shift, away from, as Rudy pointed out, it's not going to be a China-centric supply chain. We're going to move away and look for more friendly environments, and that's India, it's Korea, Mexico. Those are great opportunities for us.
Mike, I'll let you add more.
Well, I just say, to be blunt, the opportunities are endless for Arkansas, whether it be recruiting more people. Our state has grown under this governor. I believe it's going to grow under the next governor as well, because more people are locating to our state. Part of that's they want to come into Northwest Arkansas. They want to be part of that growth. But also the pandemic has changed things and how people, view their lives and how they can work. They no longer have to be on the East or West Coast. They can be in a place like Arkansas. We're going to grow with people. We're going to grow in technology because of the governor's computer science education. That's another point that we've sold and talked about all over the world. People know us because we're on the map there. The opportunity that we have right now through the military is huge. The emphasis the governor has put to make us a more military-friendly state, exempting our retiree pay, having reciprocals for spouses, all the things that we've done to check all the boxes from the Department of Defense to make us a quote, green, a friendly state for military. That's why we have this new mission coming into Fort Smith through the F-35 trainer. You're going to only see that expand in the future with Singapore coming on, the Germans coming on. More Europeans are looking to buy F-35s, and they're going to come to Arkansas to do that training. So the industry that sparks up around that is going to be huge. So, the steel industry is another one that we haven't talked about. Hopefully we will here shortly, but that's going to continue to grow. I mean, we are the steel capital of the country now. Is we lead in rice, we lead in poultry, we now lead in steel as well.
I'm going to let Mike answer this question and then the governor answer this question. If you had a mulligan and you could do one thing over again in your 8-ish years here, you're getting the same question. Sitting down with me for an interview is off the answer list, okay? So, but what would you, perhaps, what's one thing that you wish you could do a little differently, or that you wish you had learned a little earlier so you could do it differently?
Well, I guess I would have taken our social media pages down before we moved here, so you couldn't have broken that news. I'm sure the governor I probably have the same view on this. Obviously those China projects that were big announcements and brought with a lot of attention. Those ones are kind of a do-over. Maybe if we could. The thing I will point out on the two big China projects is that not a single dollar was spent from taxpayers of Arkansas to go into those projects, other than the time, blood, sweat, and tears that we put into going to recruiting them. We actually didn't use any incentive dollars, thankfully so, because we structured them all to be performance based. So it was, you come, you make the investment, you create the jobs, then you'll reap some type of benefit back from that economic impact that we've seen. So, maybe slowing down on those projects or working our way around the tariff issues to get those projects to fruition for me. And then, again, I think, looking into a potential missed market, a missed opportunity was India. As the governor said, we made it there just before the pandemic and saw that it is a huge opportunity, both for foreign direct investment, but also for trade opportunities, and kind of what Rudy alluded to about decentralizing from China. There's other opportunities in manufacturing through India and other areas. Had we known that, or had we been more focused on that early on, we would have made that a yearly trip as well.
All right, Governor, you get to answer that question too.
I've given a lot of thought to our time investment to China, and you look back at the time, it was absolutely the right decision. Walmart, Tyson's, it was an important environment for them, key Arkansas companies, and I recall, conferences there that were hosted on business development, that was hosted by some of our Arkansas partners. Those are critical relationships, and it was very competitive. But obviously in hindsight, I'd rather been in Korea. So those are good decisions to go, but missed opportunities because the whole global environment changed in reference to China. I will, in just emphasizing how competitive it is out there with other states. South Carolina has an office of 5 people in Germany that's been there for decades and decades. That's what we're competing with. We have, a single office there. Whenever you look at going to the Paris Air Show, we host all of the Arkansas companies for a fabulous dinner there in a fine restaurant, while Alabama has rented out the entire Eiffel Tower to entertain. Literally, that is true. That's the level of competition in the recruitment efforts. So important for our leaders to understand the governor needs to be there, economic development team is critical. We have to invest in that competition because the marketing makes a big difference in our exports, but also in our foreign investments.
I hear the Louvre has an opening for next time around, so if you want to do that. All right, I'm going to let you end on the most positive of notes here. Let's talk about the steel industry. You mentioned it. It's big in the U.S. right now. It's obviously huge in Arkansas. How much bigger do you think it can get?
I want to say unlimited, and the reason is it's going to have continued growth because of the supply chain challenges for steel from overseas and the unreliability of it, the delays associated with it. So it's U.S. steel companies that have invested, that's producing, that's going to have an opportunity for greater expansion in marketplace here, but also I think in the export market as well. So we're just positioned perfectly. Obviously we could have a downturn in terms of investment with the high interest rates, but I think it'll be short-lived, and I think the steel industry and our infrastructure investment will continue.
There's a lot of infrastructure money that's coming loose from the federal government too. All right, he is Mike Preston. He is Governor Asa Hutchinson. Let's give them a round of applause, gentlemen. Thank you all so much. I want to say thank you for your leadership over these last 8 years. It's been fun covering you guys, and I appreciate a lot of the stories that I've been able to share with people tonight.
Well, that was fantastic. Governor, Secretary Preston, congratulations on all the success, and thank you for all of your hard work. When you summarize the last 8 years into a short conversation, you realize how much you two accomplished. You truly left it better than you found it. So, thank you. Now, let's hand out some awards. The Governor's Award for Excellence in Global Trade recognizes the exporting excellence among Arkansas's unique enterprises. Winners of the award are Arkansas manufacturers and agricultural companies actively selling in international markets. So what does it mean to win the award? Obviously, being recognized by the governor is a pretty big deal, but what does it do for your business? A quote from last year's Rising Star Award winner, Michael Schreckenhofer of Leather Brothers in Conway. He says, "We sent out a press release to all of our raw material vendors informing them of the award. By doing this, it bettered our relationship with our vendors that we use for materials, but also helped push some export accounts we've struggled selling into in the past, which has resulted in an increase in exports overall." Stefan Johansson of EcoJohn in North Little Rock said, "We received a lot of recognition in our community as well as from our customers all over the world. Internally, it has motivated our employees, and it's something new hires find very positive." I mean, that's exactly what these awards are designed to do. So I'm going to ask for a little help this evening on handing these out. I'm going to ask Richard Dudaw to the stage. So Richard began his economic development in SBA in Georgia. So he went on to start up loan programs with local and national lenders in Atlanta and packaged loans for banks in North Carolina with an expertise in franchise development. In 2018, Arkansas stole him away from Georgia, just like our football coach, when he joined the SBA Arkansas District Office, assisting small businesses to exporting, as well as recruiting and training SBA lenders in Arkansas. Richard's current role is the International Trade Specialist for the U.S. Commercial Service based here in Little Rock. He works with current and potential Arkansas exporters to meet their objectives. He also assists with foreign direct investment promotion through his personal engagement. He analyzes export trade information, conducts market research, and develops strategies for Arkansas businesses. We're extremely fortunate to have him as the DEC's secretary. Richard?
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this new capacity, in this new role. I came over from the SBA the end of May and have enjoyed every moment of this opportunity. I'm very blessed, and I think Arkansas is lucky that I had the last 4 years with the SBA District Office and Edward Haddock. So I'm very passionate about all that they do, and it really was lucky for me that it groomed me to be in the position that I'm in now. So I appreciate the opportunity and the confidence. The first award this evening is the Agricultural Exporter Award, and the award recipient is Riceland. Riceland Foods, Inc. is a farmer-owned agricultural marketing cooperative and the world's largest miller and marketer of rice. The company was founded in 1921 with headquarters in Stuttgart, Arkansas, and has 1,599 employees. Riceland owns and operates 7 rice mills, including the largest rice mill in the world, located in Jonesboro. More than 2/3 of Riceland's business is delivering, milling, storing, marketing, and distributing rice. Riceland has worked for decades to become a trusted partner in the international market. The success of Riceland came through several methods, including transit time, quality, financing terms, and overall service. The co-op also sells products to retailers, food service, and food manufacturing companies globally. Riceland also produces rice bran oil and rice flour and offers rice bran and hulls to pet food makers and livestock farmers as feed ingredients and bedding. Riceland is also a major soybean processor in the Mississippi Delta region of the U.S., where milling, pressing, packaging, and distribution occurs. It refines soybean and other vegetable oils for food service and food manufacturing companies. Soybean meal products are sold primarily to the poultry and catfish industries. In addition, winter wheat and limited quantities of corn are handled, depending on the needs of farmer members. Byproducts that are commercially marketed include organic gardening amenities like PBH, which is pasteurized rice hulls, and rice hull ash, which are biodegradable, and biorenewable soil supplement replacements for perlite and vermiculite. Each year, more than 1,500 employees receive store, transport, process, and market more than 125 million total bushels of grain produced by its 5,500 farmer-owner members in Arkansas and Missouri. Total international sales in 2021 were $109 million and accounts for 20% of the company's total revenue. Riceland's largest export market is Haiti and is continuing to work toward fulfilling the mission of helping farmers feed the world in a sustainable manner. In the last 3 years, the company has entered new markets, including Jordan and Iceland.
Hello, I'm Jason Bransel, President and CEO of Riceland Foods. On behalf of our farmer members and over 1,500 employees across Arkansas and Missouri, I want to thank the Governor, his administration, and the Arkansas District Export Council for recognizing our cooperative with this important award. So many cuisines and diets across the globe are based on rice. It's easy to think of rice as an exotic grain from picturesque foreign lands, but most of the rice we eat is grown right here. American rice grown on American soil by the American family farmer. We at Riceland help our farmers reach domestic markets and global export markets. We do collectively through the cooperative what our farmers would struggle to do individually. Riceland, a farmer-owned cooperative, helps farmers feed the world sustainably. Riceland is the world's largest miller and marketer of rice, serving 5,500 farmer members in Arkansas and Missouri. As a farmer-owned cooperative, Riceland stores, transports, processes, and markets more than 2.5 million metric tons of grain each year. And its products are sold across the United States in 30 countries. It's also one of the Mid-South's major soybean processors. Riceland products include white, brown, and parboiled rice, rice bran oil, soybean meal, and oil and feed ingredients. Since 1921, we've been supporting farmers across Arkansas and Missouri. These are the farmers who own our cooperative, who prosper together. All our export shipments are loaded onto barges at our New Madrid, Missouri location, and we utilize the natural resource of the mighty Mississippi River, our gateway to the countries across oceans, so the world can be served with great food. So again, thank you to everyone involved in this evening for making it memorable for us at Riceland Foods, and congratulations to the others recognized this evening. We are honored to receive this award, and it inspires us to continue helping farmers feed the world sustainably.
Thank you. Accepting the award tonight will be Jason Bransel. The next award is the Franchise Development Exporter Award. And I had many, many years in the franchise industry, so this one is especially exciting for me to be able to award. And the award goes to Slim Chickens. Slim Chickens was with the mission to bring Southern hospitality to a fast, casual setting, serving fresh, delicious chicken. Founders Greg Smart and Tom Gordon discovered there was a niche to fill and rallied where lots of great startups begin, from their garage. Tireless testing and a laser-focused vision launched the first Slim Chickens restaurant in Fayetteville, Arkansas in 2003. The company headquarters is located in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and has experienced consistent employee growth to 410 employees as of 2021. Slim Chickens is proud to be one of the largest food service employers in the state, and what started as franchise expansion within the U.S. grew to global expansion 6 years ago in Kuwait. International growth has been rapid, and now Slim Chickens has 27 locations opened and operating throughout the UK, with 10 more to open this year. New overseas locations are opening in Turkey, and in the near future, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Netherlands, and the Czech Republic. The team at Slim Chickens is also developing a strategy to continue growth for locations in the Middle East, North Africa, and Southeast Asia. In 2021, export revenues accounted for 10% of the company's gross revenues. Slim Chickens strives to give back to the communities they serve by helping local nonprofits with fundraisers, donating food to community events, and doing everything possible to improve the lives of people in the communities where we live and work.
Slim Chickens was born and bred in Fayetteville, Arkansas in 2003. It all started with a tender and a sauce, and the mission to make great chicken tenders and perfectly fried wings using only the best ingredients. Slim's is dedicated to staying true to those roots here in Arkansas, but taking a bit of Southern hospitality across the globe. The U.S. expansion has seen franchise locations in 30 states and another 100 deals signed in 2022. The first international location opened in March of 2018. Slim's now has 29 locations outside of the U.S. and is currently working on new deals in France, Spain, Germany, Poland, Netherlands, and the GCC, with a goal of 300 total locations by the end of 2032.
Yeah, here we are in Slim Chickens in the UK. We've opened our 29th location. We're expanding into Ireland, Turkey, France, Spain, also doing some work in the Middle East. I want to thank the Export Council for this award for franchising throughout the world. We appreciate everything you guys are doing.
And accepting the award tonight is Sam Rothschild. And Tom Gordon? And Tom Gordon. Sorry, Tom. Congratulations. The next award is the Innovation and Impact in Manufacturing Exporter Award. The award this year goes to Power Technology. As one of the oldest photonics companies in the U.S., the branch of technology concerned with the properties and transmission of photons, for example, in fiber optics. I had to look that one up. Power Technology has been a driving force in the laser industry. Since 1969, they have worked in designing, developing, and manufacturing a comprehensive range of laser products for specific biomedical, industrial, semiconductor inspection, projection, machine vision, defense, and security applications. The company employs 45 people and is located in Alexander, Arkansas. Power Technology has worked diligently through the challenges presented in the global market over the past 2 years and has managed to increase their market share globally while boasting a 30% increase in annual revenue for 2021. Exports account for 18% of the company's total revenue in 2021. Major clients for Power Technology include those in Israel, the UK, South Korea, and their expansion has grown in Indonesia, Hungary, and Uruguay, to name a few. By leveraging the increased reach of distributors in key markets, significant growth was created in specialty laser products, with the biggest success story being a European medical device company choosing Power Technology's product over a direct competitor due to Power Technology's product quality and consistency. And one thing I want to give a plug for is the Emerging Leaders Program from the SBA. Had the opportunity to work with him for 7 months, year before last. I personally am very proud of what you have done. I'm glad that and honored to have been part of that. So a plug for the SBA Emerging Leaders Program. And now we will watch the video.
Hello, I'm William Burgess with Power Technology. Having previously won this award back in 2011, we know what an honor it is to receive the Governor's Award for Excellence in Global Trade. I want to thank the Governor for his recognition, and I am grateful to accept this award on behalf of our incredible team at Power Technology. At PTI, we are dedicated to increasing our exports to high-tech companies around the globe. Over the last 5 years, we have exported lasers to 45 different countries. We currently have exclusive distribution agreements in the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Israel. In spite of the pandemic and the ban on international travel a few years ago, we are very proud to say that Power Technology has increased its international sales throughout the pandemic. Increasing our sales and winning this award would not be possible without help from our international distributors. Since 1969, Power Technology has been a driving force in the laser industry. For over 50 years, we've been designing, developing, and manufacturing a comprehensive range of laser products for scientific, medical, industrial, defense, and semiconductor inspection applications. PTI was originally founded to manufacture laser power supplies for helium neon gas lasers. In the world of lasers, many industry experts have said this type of laser and its associated power supplies are on a decline. However, the beam quality of these lasers is better than most, and some markets still have a need for them. PTI has successfully grown its market share by identifying these key market segments and targeting our sales efforts on larger customers overseas. One of the new customers that we targeted happens to be a medical device company in Europe. We were able to take away business from a direct competitor by emphasizing our quality, delivery performance, and the consistency of our laser power supplies. As it happens, this customer manufactures equipment that was used to ramp up production of COVID-19 vaccines. Power Technology employs more than 50 people in the Little Rock area. 10 of those jobs are directly supported by our exports. We are proud of how PTI has grown from its humble beginnings on our founder's kitchen table to become a global presence in the laser industry that is still based right here in Arkansas. I want to say thank you again to the Governor and to the Arkansas District Export Council for this award, and congratulations to all the other winners tonight.
And accepting the award tonight is William Burgess. The next award is the Resilience in Manufacturing Exporter Award. This award goes to Verco. Verco designs, manufactures, and assembles classroom furniture in-house. Their team has proudly served the diverse education community since 1950 and has 760 employees, of which 447 are based in Arkansas. The team at Verco is dedicated to providing the best equipment available for educators working from preschool through high school and onto higher learning facilities, including colleges, universities, trade, technical, and vocational schools. While sales did decline during the pandemic due to funding shutdowns and shortages, Verco experienced a strong rebound in 2021 and 2022 with significant growth in international markets. Export sales account for 4.9% of the company's total gross revenue in 2021. Verco's top export markets in the past 5 years are Canada, the Caribbean, Mexico, and South America, and the company does business in over 75 countries worldwide. New markets for the company in the past 3 years include Vietnam, the Philippines, St. Martin in the Caribbean. We'll now watch the video.
Good evening. I'm Doug Virtue, president of Verco and a third-generation member of the founding family. On behalf of Verco's 800 employees and their own families, I'm proud to accept the Resilience in Manufacturing Award from Governor Asa Hutchinson and the Arkansas District Export Council. As everyone knows, the last few years have been very challenging for American manufacturers. We consider ourselves fortunate to be doing business in the state of Arkansas, where the leadership of Governor Hutchinson has created an atmosphere of trust and certainty. These are the critical conditions for any business, coming even before strategy, product, or financing. At Verco, we have a unique perspective on the importance of state-level leadership and policy with facilities in both California and Arkansas. During the last 2 decades of intense competition with overseas manufacturers, we have chosen to make our largest capital investments and our most robust hiring in the state of Arkansas, where we consider conditions to be more favorable. I'm happy to say those investments in infrastructure, equipment, and most importantly, personnel have been well rewarded. Today, we operate more than 1.7 million square feet of integrated manufacturing and distribution space in the town of Conway, where we've been located since 1954. As the economic logic of global sourcing continues to evolve after the pandemic, we are finding our U.S. factories, especially those in Conway, to be more globally competitive than ever. I would also like to thank the Arkansas District Export Council not only for this recognition, but also for highlighting the importance and reality of globally competitive U.S. manufacturing. This is a subject that deserves much more headline space than it's currently getting. When international schools want to create a positive learning environment, they specify Verco furniture and go to the expense and trouble of importing it to what are sometimes very challenging locations. Think jungles and deserts and dense urban cities. We've delivered school furniture to over 75 different nations, including all of the famous Asian powerhouses like the People's Republic of China, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and Vietnam. They may export smartphones, but they import our school furniture, particularly for the elite private and baccalaureate schools. That furniture is made right here in Conway, Arkansas, and shipped all around the world. We couldn't do this work without an outstanding workforce. One of the things that we are proudest of is that over 40% of our employees have been with Verco for more than 20 years. That degree of loyalty and continuity is unusual for any organization. We believe it's a big reason, probably the main reason, that we've been able to remain globally competitive during these challenging years. And I mean it when I say we'd put our Arkansas team up against any company in the world and we'd come out on top. If you've visited any of our facilities, I bet you would agree, and I would like to invite anybody in the audience tonight to get in touch with Scotty or Steve and come up and visit us in Conway, because you'll be impressed by what you see. You'll learn how American manufacturing remained globally competitive. So thank you again to Governor Hutchinson for creating an environment of certainty and trust. That environment is good for business, good for schools, good for communities, and good for workers. It establishes a positive example for the rest of the country. And thanks as well to the Arkansas District Export Council for helping us to share this example with the rest of the world. We appreciate the recognition, and we're proud to say, made here by us in Arkansas.
Accepting the award this evening is Scotty Bell and Stephen Presley. The next award this evening is the Rising Star Exporter Award. The award this year goes to White River Hardwoods Woodworks. White River Hardwoods is a family-owned business established in 1977 and is located in Fayetteville, Arkansas, with 54 employees, 44 of which are based in Arkansas. The company manufactures embellished and traditional hardwood moldings, corbels, and if you don't know what that is, I had to look that one up, a projection jutting out from a wall to support a structure above it, and architectural wood carvings for the millwork and kitchen and bath industries. White River Hardwoods also provides a wide range of fee-based millwork design services for residential and commercial projects, ranging from a detailed mantle to a whole millwork package. Working with all industry professionals, the team at White River Hardwoods has been enlisted for many luxury buildings projects throughout the years, and the custom design service they provide is unique in the building industry. Their skilled professionals can develop the CAD and design in real time as the job and project managers are involved. This allows for faster and more accurate drawings and ensures proper installation and understanding of the entire project. The company began working with international customers and stocking distributors in the mid-'80s and developed a 3 to 4 member team to support international sales and growth through the late 90s. Currently, the team is working on a project for Disney Tokyo. The project has received multiple containers and air shipments to support new construction this year. The company's export shipments have consistently increased year over year since 2019 and in 2021. 200 overseas shipments helped export sales account for 12% of total company gross revenues. The company's top export markets have been Canada, Japan, Germany, Emirates of Dubai, the Caribbean, Poland, Europe, Mexico, and Russia.
Hi, I'm Ben Johnson with White River Hardwoods and Director of Sales, based out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. We've been established since 1975 and are nearly approaching 50 years of business, working into our second generation. We started the company off as a local regional manufacturer, and over the course of about 10 to 15 years, by developing some key products in the industry, we were able to grow through one-step and two-step distribution as well as export sales.
You know, some of the most successful things we did was really when we developed the Montreal line, which was a solid hardwood molding with a ornamented overlay on it. That is what really put White River on the map, and it just took the market by storm. There was just a huge demand for it. One of the reasons that design is easy for White River and feels natural is because we're actually envisioning moldings that we stock that are large in scale, that we can actually envision those moldings into your home. We carry over 3,200 products in stock. We can usually ship out a large job within 2 to 3 weeks.
So here at White River Hardwoods, you're standing in our main inventory warehouse where we pull and ship orders. This is an example of one of our crates with product inside of it. These ship all over the United States. We export them all over the world, both in less than container, and air shipments. You'll see our standing inventory behind us. We manufacture for inventory, which allows us to be the Amazon of millwork to the world, shipping in 2 to 4 days, plus transit for a specialty high-end product. And this is what makes White River so special. We'd like to thank the governor, the DEC, the WTO, and all the people who made it possible for us to be here today. Thank you.
And accepting the award this evening is Ben Johnson. And our last award this evening is the Woman-Owned Exporter Award. And the award this year goes to Smart Repro. Now, borrowing on a little bit of Jonathan's enthusiasm and levity, I will tell you that this will probably be a very interesting conversation for you to take home with you tonight because I learned a lot. Smart Repro was initially established in 2019 as a woman-owned business with 6 employees located in Jonesboro. It is led by owner Brittany Scott and is a unique operation in Arkansas agriculture. Smart Repro is first in the U.S. to achieve European Union and the United Kingdom certifications for the collection, storage, and export of sheep and goat frozen semen and embryo, and also the first company to negotiate multi-country export certification from the United States Department of Agriculture. These USDA certifications have made Smart Repro the only facility of this type within the U.S. and have opened the door to the global trade markets for American sheep and goat producers, which were not previously available. Over the past 3 years, Smart Repro has shown exponential growth and transitioned from 21% of the revenue being from international sales to now operating at 100% of export-focused company revenues. Aside from their major clients in the EU and Australia, Smart Repro is currently working to create new distribution points and help solve the food crisis in Central and South America, the Caribbean, as well as Southeast Asia. Video, please.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Scott, and I'm the owner and operator of Smart Reproduction, located in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I would like to thank the Governor and the Arkansas District Export Council for this amazing honor in recognizing our company's hard work. Let me show you what we do. Smart Reproduction is an international embryo and semen export company. We work with sheep and goats, and we ship our products worldwide. Our company is creating a new industry. Sheep and goat products for export is not something that is common like it is in other industries such as cattle and swine. It was created from the need and international buyers reaching out to our company for these products. Our products are used in breed-up programs worldwide. In these programs, we are taking elite American genetics and using them in developing countries primarily to make the native goats better. So in other countries, goats are used for meat, milk, and fiber. We collect American genetics here and ship them frozen to our clients internationally. Agriculture as a whole is primarily a male-dominated industry. Winning this award as a woman-owned small business is very important to us as our company primarily employs the majority of females. Through our products and going to developing nations, through our breed-up programs, we're also empowering the women on an international scale within those countries to be able to provide for themselves and also produce an income for their family. We would like to congratulate the other finalists and again thank the Governor and the Arkansas District Export Council for this prestigious award. We're very excited for the international platform it will give our business, and we're very excited to see our growth in the future.
And accepting the award this evening is Brittany Hirsch.
So I would like to say on that video, Mitch helped with all these videos, but we also had some help from the Cross County High School on filming that. And he was a mentor to the students there that allowed them to shoot their first production. It may not be your first production video, but it's a great production video. So I'd like to ask Jason Blake and Karis Mano to come up here. All right. Thank you, Richard. All right. Congratulations to all the winners. That was fantastic. You know, I'm very thankful and fortunate that my wife was able to bring my daughters here tonight. First off, what an amazing experience to have a dinner at the governor's mansion, but also because of the Woman-Owned Exporting Award. As you said, it's a male-dominated environment, and I want them to see that they can do anything. Not just from them, but from all the winners. It shows what can be accomplished with the hard work, with the ingenuity, with the overcoming challenges that you don't even know that are out there in front of you. So if my girls can take home a tenth of what was said tonight, I really, from our award winners, I'm very grateful for all of you. So thank you. A few other quick thank yous as well. Roby, thank you again for always being available for us. You've been such a great supporter of the deck. And I'm also going to give another plug for Roby. We were fortunate enough to have our new member ceremony back in April at his Red and Blue Event Center, and he and his staff and his team took excellent care of us from beginning to end. They made everything so easy. So you've got a great center there, so thank you for that. Communication Director Scott Harden, thank you for getting PBS here. PBS, thank you for being here and taking care of all the press releases and putting words into my mouth in a good way, obviously. And speaking of PBS, if you guys are out there and you export, we want to talk to you. We would love to have conversations with you to see how we might be able to help, or how you might be able to educate us on some of the practices that you're doing. So, yes, please reach out to the District Export Council. To Mitch Chandler, I know, he's usually behind the camera. He doesn't like being the center of attention. But he was responsible for all the videos this evening. And he worked with all the award winners, and he made everything look so great. To most people, it's probably just a video. To me, it goes a little bit deeper. I was raised by a single mom with a lot of help from my grandparents, and that meant that I had to go to work with my mom all the time. I grew up in the hallways of Channel 4 and worked with her all the way from running a teleprompter to become an executive producer of special assignments. And Mitch was always there all along the way to play in the hallways with me, whether it was kicking a soccer ball, trying to get me to be quiet while they were shooting live shots. Or one thing is, he never told on me for eating all the sugar cubes out of the break room. So I appreciate it. He may have been the one that actually pushed me to eat them, actually, trying to see what would happen. So he took this as a legacy project. Thank you so much, Mitch. I'd like to thank Lost 40 for the generous donation of the beer, and Jonathan Looney of Looney's Liquor Store out in Chenal for the wine and making listening to me a little bit more bearable this evening. Thanks again to all of our amazing sponsors. You not only made this night possible, but you make it able to continue our mission throughout the year. And probably one of the most important thank yous, I'd say it's the most important thank you. If you've been to any of our meetings, if you've joined our educational webinars, if you've seen our newsletter, or if you have a seat here tonight, there's been one constant name that has come across your desk. Miss Heidi, where are you? Please stand up. We would only be a shell of what we are today, and we are so fortunate to have you as part of the deck. Thank you for working beside us and making us better. Okay, so this wraps up my first public speaking gig. Unlike our webinars, I'm not going to ask for a survey of how this went. But I do hope that, we show this evening that exporting doesn't have to be scary. The idea of growing your revenue by exporting can be more exciting, and creating jobs more rewarding, and showcasing our state in the best light. I hope we made that an enjoyable experience for you this evening. Since there's not a survey, I'm going to assume that I did. So thank you, Governor. Thank you, Secretary Preston, for traveling the world to make the case for Arkansas as a world-class business destination. I cannot think of two better representatives to have. Good night and Godspeed.